Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is John. I'm a filmmaker slash creator and your host for Make Limited Podcast, where we talk about how to change our circumstance when life happens. In other words, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Today, we're talking about outcome. What's going on, everyone? This is your host, John. Welcome once again. Welcome to Make Limited Podcast. I'm so glad that you're here today. If you are exercising, if you're working out, going to the gym, on a jog, going to work, wherever you are, take care of your kids, listening to Make Limited Podcast. We just want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. We have something for you, a message that's going to change your life. And we mean that. I'm telling you, today is an amazing topic that we're going to be talking about, which is outcome. Outcome, let's define that word and let's see the context of where we're going with today's podcast. Outcome is defined as the way a thing turns out, a consequence. So, I want to ask you, what is the outcome of your story? And we're going to answer this at the end of the podcast. We're going to give you something to go with, a gift that you can go with, a little nugget, as you can say, that you're going to be able to go in when we come back to this question and talk about what's the outcome of your story. But first, let's get into what I want to talk about today, which is outcome. Now, if you haven't heard this before, let me say this quote, which is my own quote, to you. What you choose to do in your life will be your outcome. Now, if you never heard this and you don't understand what this means, it's pretty simple. Whatever you decide to be, whatever you decide to build on is what you are going to become. It's your consequence. Now, consequences has a bad notation to it, but again, consequences is just something of a result that you have in terms of doing something and you get a consequence from it. It's just something that you get from that action. And right here for outcome, it's just the way things turn out. But how do things turn out to be, first of all? Well, that's what I want to talk to you today. Now, if you know already, one of my top resources that I live by and have many principles by is the Bible. And today I want to come to you from a story. If you haven't read the book of Numbers, I highly suggest that you read that chapter. It's really good. And it talks about a lot of things. It's just something to read. If you're going to read anything in the Bible, go in as someone who's just reading and asking questions and write those questions down and try to find those answers. That's all I ask when you do read it, because there's a lot of stuff that can be confusing. So I'm not going to get too deep into it, but I do want to get a piece of the story in this that's going to tie up to outcome. So let's continue. All right. So we're saying the quote, what you choose to do in life will be your outcome. Now, let me tell you a brief explanation of what the book of Numbers deals with. Okay. Now, the book of Numbers is a place where the people of Israel have gotten out of Egypt, which were enslaved for 400 years, and were freed. Now, they're in the desert. However, because of their rebellion and complaints and all this stuff that they've refused to do and follow, they have come into this area where they're not able to go into the promised land until that generation passes away, right? It's gone, no more, finito. And then the new generation is going to be able to go into the promised land because the old generation didn't believe, but the new ones are going to be able to have an opportunity to go into this promised land that flows with milk and honey. It has just so many benefits in this land, right, for the people of Israel. Now, at this time, once the generation has passed and Moses is giving his last words with this people, because he too was also, he was the leader of the people who got Israel out of Egypt, and he was guiding the people through the desert and everything. But they literally spent like 40 years in the desert, just roaming around, never finding a home. And again, this was for the purpose of getting rid of the old generation who were rebellious and didn't want to follow what God had commanded. So they chose to be this one thing. And the outcome was, okay, you're not going into the promised land because of the refusal of what you decided to live your life on. So when the new generation is coming in and Moses is already going to, depart from them, he tells them this speech of things that will happen in the future for them, right? He tells them, if you choose to do good and follow, God's commandments, then you will reap all this amazing benefits. You will be blessed. You have, all this good stuff. He will protect you. He will guide you. All these beautiful things that come with, I guess you could say, a blessing. But if you choose not to follow this, then this is the result you get. You get cursed. You're not protected. You're going to be enslaved. You're going to be doing this. You're going to be doing that, right? You're just going to be all negative, and it's going to be a curse instead of blessing. And he tells the people to choose life. Okay? Choose life, not death. Because this isn't the way that he was talking about. If you choose to do good, you're going to choose life. Choose to live life purposely. But if you choose death, then that's exactly what you're going to get. You're going to go into an area that is going to be dark, it's going to be gloomy, and it's not going to be happy, and it's going to be enslaved, and you're going to be all over in that place where you want to be because you chose to be those things, right? And that is what we face today in our world. And I want to take that story and grab it into what I just said. What you choose to do in life will be your outcome. How does that connect? If we choose life, we choose death, we're going to die or we're going to live forever. What is the outcome that we have in here? The outcome is this. We're not talking about life. We're not talking about death. But what we are talking about is your turnout, the outcome of things that you choose to be. And so let me just give you a poor example. If you choose to be a fish, you must become a fish. Okay? Where does a fish live? It lives in the ocean, lives in the water, breathes in the water, has scales. It's very, how can I say, I wouldn't say gooey, but very slimy, I would say, very slippery if you try to catch it. So when you go into this area of transformation, you start becoming a fish. You need to have scales. You need to learn how to breathe underwater. You need to just change your whole whatever, because you need to become this. And this is a poor example, right? Now let me give you a more exciting example. If you want to become successful, you need to apply successful things in your life. And what is successful thing in your life? Well, I like to look what is around me and what is successful. First of all, just look at yourself. If you need to look at yourself in the mirror, look at yourself in the picture, whatever you do, your body itself is a successful product, right? Let's just say in those terms, because it works together and it works so perfectly that you're living right now and you probably don't even know how everything works in your body. But if you start digging into how your body works, you start noticing that your brain is like a computer that literally moves your whole body and makes it work. It is that crazy. You start learning that you need nutrition and that things work together in your body to help you survive in this world, right? And so many other things that you start learning, and you start realizing that there needs to be organization in order for the body to work. There needs to be jobs given to certain individuals in your body that make certain functions work, so that your body can move a finger, so that you can blink an eye, so that you can eat, so that you can swallow, so that you can digest food. All these things that work together in order for you to survive on this earth. So what do we take from that? Well, we take this one thing: organization. In order to have a successful life in a career, a business, school, college, family, organization is a key. And it doesn't only work within our bodies. It also works in every area that you possibly can see. Take, for example, if you are sitting down in your car, it drives, but it doesn't drive without every part having a function in it. Why? Because it needs to work together in order to function. Okay? Now, take, for example, nature. Everything in nature works together in organization in order for it to live and function and reproduce this circle of life that we live. Why? Because it survives. It's what everything works with each other in order for it to exist on this earth. The moment that something is not working with each other, it ceases to exist or it ceases to function. And that is the lack of organization, that is the lack of supplement, that is the lack of nutrition that needs to be applied to that certain subject. So how do we see that in our lives? If we choose the outcome of being successful, then ultimately we need to start doing things that are going to put our lives in the direction of success. Now, we've talked about before in other podcasts that success for me is not a one-time thing. Success for me is an ongoing thing in my life. No matter what I'm doing, once I finish a goal that I was trying to reach, another goal begins. Why? Because I am always on an everlasting growing lifestyle. That's why I live after success, after success, after success, after success, after failure, success, and I learn from each one of them and what they give me. Why? Because I want to live a successful life. And it's stuff that we do and put into action that are going to get us there. Again, one of the biggest things that I talked about is organization. Another thing is morals and values. Very important in our lives. Other things that lead to success, and that is what people like to say, the grind, putting in the work, the action. If you want to do something, you need to practice it over and over and over again, because you need to become very well adequate at what you are doing. It's very important because, take for example, if you want to become a writer, you are going to do a few things to be successful in writing. First of all, you're going to need to know about writing history. Second of all, writers in the history, what theories there are about writing, and how can you apply this to your life. Now, it's very simple, right? And it sounds a little complicated because you have to do a lot of research and reading that go with writing. That's just part of it. The other part is your practice of writing. You need to write and rewrite and get criticized constantly over your writing so that your writing can be better. And the more you understand how to write in whatever field of writing you want to be in, whether it be journalist, whether it be blogs, whether it be books, comics, script writing, whatever writing field you want to be in, you have to learn and practice it over and over again and ultimately come up with an ideal system that works for you. Just like a house is put together and it works together, just like a tree is put together and it works together, just like your body works together and it's put together, you as well have to create a system that works for you so that you can function and be very good at writing. These are the things that we look at when we are seeing the outcome of our lives. Whatever you choose to do in your life will be your outcome. Now let's not just look at success, but now let's look at the opposite of success, which is failure. If you choose to be a failure, which is something that no one chooses, right? Sometimes we feel that it is unconsciously done within the areas of our lives that we have no idea how we got there, but we get there, right? But the truth is that we choose this either consciously or unconsciously. Why? Because we are the ones that are directing our lives. We're the ones who get up early to do things. We're the ones who push ourselves to make that action come to life. We're the ones who set our goals. We're the ones who get ourselves organized. We're the ones who put everything in organization in a system so that it can function for us, right? So we can get that action and function going so that we are not left behind and become failures. But when we stop doing these things, what are some of the key things or key concepts of failure? 1, laziness. 2, anxiety. 3, stress. 4, we can keep on going. It can be anything, disappointment, angry. I don't know. You just name a bunch of failures that people use as an excuse or people happen to indulge in that causes them to fail, right? And the more that they practice this unconsciously or consciously, it starts turning into a routine and it starts becoming a system that works for them to be a failure. Now, you could say that they're becoming very successful at being failures, and that is not a lie. That is actually true. They're becoming actually good at failing, that they do it unconsciously. They do it like if it's a secondhand thing that they do. Like if you're just moving your hands or blinking your eyes, right? Or walking. You don't think about it, you just do it. It's the same way that it happens when you start applying something and practicing it on a daily basis. It becomes your outcome. Again, what you choose to do in your life will be your outcome. And that is super important because, again, if we go back to the story when Moses is talking to the people, he's saying, choose life or choose death. You have a choice here to the outcome of your life. Whether you want to stay at a place, you want to move forward, you want to grow, you have that outcome. Whatever you choose, that's where you'll become. That's where you will grow in, and that's where you will stay in. Now, for me, I want to always keep growing, always keep learning. If there's anything that I dream about every single day of my life, it's always learning and growing. Because there's something about it that just makes my mind blow into a crazy, how can I say, experience of learning. Like, I can't explain. It's like the universe. It's so big and so, how can I say, endless that there's so many possibilities. And when it comes to expanding my mind and learning, it becomes like the universe. There's so much to learn. And I want to learn as much as possible that I can. And this is what I want to do on a daily basis. And whatever I'm doing. Right now, my focus is on my career, on the things that I'm doing in small businesses. And I want to grow in that area. I want to grow in my career as a filmmaker, as a creator. So I'm learning the business side of it. I'm learning the what do you call it? The I want to say the law side of it. I mean, there's a different word that's called for that, right? But I want to learn every single part and detail of that and become extremely good at it to a master point. Why? Because that's what I want to grow into and become. And so the more that I practice this, the more that I do this, I'm starting to know the outcome of my life. This is the same for each and every one of us. If you don't know where you're going to end up in the future, think about what you're doing right now. Think about what you continue to do. And that's going to ultimately be an outcome that you are going to do over and over and over again. So it brings us back to the question that we first asked in the beginning of this podcast. What's the outcome of your life? This is the question that we talk about every day, consciously or unconsciously. And it's in different forms. We ask ourselves, what's our purpose? What are we to do? What's the point of life? What am I here for? And the true answer is very simple. And I've given two purposes for human, which I've talked in the podcast before, and you can go look for the purpose of our life. And I talked about two simple ways to understand it. Okay, there's many ways that you can understand it, but for me, it was very simple to understand it in these two ways. One, you help the earth, or two, you help the people helping the earth. Very simple. And I explain it in this way. You're helping the earth, you help the earth however you can, right? To take care of this earth, whether it be its animals, whether it be its nature, whether it be, whatever deals with earth that you want to do. Cleaning the ocean, helping the system, like the earth system work better, animals again. But if you want to help humans, there's many ways that you can help humans, right? In order for us to live here in our ecosystem that we've done things that are financially businesses that helps us do things. For example, a restaurant helps us feed people that are helping the world, right? Or help people that are helping other people help the world, and so on and so forth. And in short, all you need to ask yourself is this: what do I want to do? What do I want the outcome of my life to be? And it's that simple. If you're asking yourself, what's your purpose in your life? Your purpose in your life is exactly one or two: help other people, or help the people helping the earth. Help the earth, or help other people helping the earth. And you can decide whatever to do in that section. Whatever. There's no limit to what you can do. No limit. You want to become a doctor and help people like that are helping the earth? Go ahead. If you want to help the earth, you want to become a scientist? Go ahead. Right? If you want to better our lives so that we can live better in this world and we can function with this world, go ahead. Whatever you want to be, make that your purpose. Make that your outcome. But I say in this and all, whether you're doing a doctor and going to that career, or you're becoming a scientist and going to that career, whatever it is, a coder, a business person, a social media person, so whatever it is, and what you are doing, choose to do good. Because you have either option. You can do bad or you can do good. But today I stand here telling you, do good. Don't go to bad, because they all have consequences. They all have outcomes. You choose to do bad, you're going to have bad things that are going to happen. If you choose to do good, you're going to have good things that are going to happen. And one of my best advice that I would give you in everything that you do in your life is be this one thing and always. When you're facing any situation, be a dove and a snake. Be ready to love on people, to be peaceful with people, but also be like a snake, ready to strike, to defend yourself, to be able to speak up for yourself, stand up for yourself, stand up for things that need to be right. Be ready. Those are my best advice that I give you, because we all need that in our lives. In my life, I have been in a place where I used to be just a dove. I thought that being nice and being kind to people is all that I needed to give, which is still true to my life. But then I started noticing that people started taking advantage of it. And the reason why I started seeing this is because I started examining these people and their ways and their actions with my kindness. And I started realizing that people think that kindness is a certain weakness. And if you don't speak up, if you don't say anything, they're going to keep on doing it, and they're going to keep on and keep on. That's why I say be ready to strike and be peaceful. Because even though we are peaceful, we also need to learn that we need to stand up for ourselves and stand up for things that are right. Even when there's situations that may be scary, again, choose your battle. But in all, do good. Do good because it's going to benefit your life. Be kind, be positive, all that amazingness that comes with it, because ultimately your outcome is going to be just that. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in today, and we'll talk to you next time. Peace. All right, everyone. So you have reached the end of our podcast for today, and we talked about outcome. And what is outcome? The way a thing turns out, a consequence. And we asked the question, what's the outcome of your life? And we went over and said, what you choose to do in your life will be your outcome. Whether you be a scientist, whether you be a doctor, everything that goes into it, that's going to be your outcome. Whatever follows with those decisions that you make ultimately will be your outcome. So we hope that you were inspired. We hope that you were motivated to be better humans today. And like always, thank you so much for listening today. We hope again that you were inspired, motivated to be better humans. And if you want to reach out to us, you can always go to our website and send us a message at MakeLemonadePodcast.com, or go to our Facebook page at Make Lemonade Podcast and send us a message there. We'll reply to you as soon as possible, thanking you for your comments. So thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Peace.